Hello and welcome to a 2025 edition of Friday Function. This is part of the second season, if you like, of new functionality coming in IFS Cloud. And today we're going to talk about qualified supplier levels or quality supplier levels. I'm Oliver Franks, Solution Consultant at Anthesis. I just want to walk you through this neat new piece of functionality that IFS has had for a little while now, but maybe your procurement team is not aware of. So first things first, on the purchase part, we have this new tab called Quality Requirements. So if you're working in a regulated industry where you need to ensure that you've got the right supplier who is compliant with your processes and procedures and any audit requirements around the product, this is going to be great functionality for you. So in our purchase part, we have our quality requirements that states either I must be buying from a part that has a minimum QSL, minimum quality system level. So that could be a Roche compliant supplier if you're in electronics, or it could be a chemical provider with the right certifications if you're working on the chemical side. I can alternately say they need to be buying this from a qualified manufacturer, or I can say this supplier needs to be qualified to supply me with a specific purchase part. So you've got three levels of this qualified supplier process. In this instance, I'm applying two so that we can see the difference between the two. One of these is that I need to have a minimum level of certification against my supplier. This is also attached to IFS audit management. So if we are attaching an audit that allows my supplier to be qualified to a certain level and that audit expires, the supplier will lose their QSL, which is really, really useful. And then we're also showing the qualified supplier required, which is on the supplier for purchase part, where I say, I'm okay to buy this from this supplier. What the system will do, what the functionality does, is when I raise a purchase requisition, what we'll see is it will apply an extra level of authorization from a different part of the application based on the compliance of my suppliers. So let's look at my suppliers that I've selected here. I've got GP Components, who are, in this instance, we've got new options in this quality tab as part of the supplier. This supplier is only a ranking 3 supplier with 9001 certification, so I'm not going to be able to buy from them for this particular product. And then the other supplier that I have is called Tektron, and whilst they are quality assured, so I've got my approved box checked there because they're a level 1 strategic or secure supplier, I have not yet approved the supplier for purchase part for purchase. So let's go and see the impact of this. Here I am now in my purchase requisition. You can see if I just hold down my bookmarks, I have got my 2 lines. One I'm buying from GP Components, one I'm buying from Tektron. No authorization required right now until I release. And then when I hit release, what IFS will do is it will go into the background. Obviously, it'll apply any financial authorization that is required here, but it also will apply for each line the correct authorization group based on the authorization requirements that this supplier has failed. Now, overall, nice, neat new piece of functionality, great for regulated industry. Really, really useful because what it allows us to do is it allows IFS to still create the purchase requisitions. We can still create those recs and have MRP suggest that we should be buying things. And rather than just not creating the supplier for purchase part or having them set to not active, we actually have one stage extra here where we can say, yes, I do want to buy from the supplier, but only if quality allow me to do so. So really, really handy if you deal with any prototype products or samples or anything from an NPI perspective. That's how qualified supplier levels works in IFS, or quality supplier levels. Happy to give more detail if you want to reach out. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.